Hi.
Hi.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another video from us, the Sam-Arhores. We just want to say a happy new year, and we know it's February, but still a happy new year
Happy
from
New Year.
from us to you, and hope you had a wonderful break and nice holiday. Um, how are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm very well, thank you. Okay. So today is all about my wife, her background, and how she's enjoying marriage so far. And we're just going to be walking through, she's going to be walking us through her experience and how all of that helped shape her view on marriage and how it has helped her some things that she had to drop and pick up along the way. So, really looking forward to this. And
Me too.
without further ado, let's get into it. So,
Yeah.
just give us a brief introduction of what your family background was like. How was it like for you growing up? Just talk to us about that.
Okay. Um, my background growing up was unique to me. Yeah. I come from a small nuclear family. My mom, my dad, my older sister, and myself. Very lovely family. My parents are awesome. But somewhere along the way, my parents got separated and eventually divorced.
Okay.
So my dad, took care of us. We lived with my dad, and amazing man. Even my mom, while not being there, was very supportive as well. But yeah, that's just what my background was like. I grew up with my dad, and received support from my mom long distance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, and coming from that experience, how would you say that shaped your mind towards marriage? Like, what was your view of marriage in that sense, and during everything, while everything was going on, how did you see marriage in that time?
Okay. That's actually a very interesting question. We're back to doing that again. That's actually a very interesting question, no, honestly. But before I answer that question, right, I just want to say that irrespective of however I saw marriage, it didn't affect how I saw my parents.
Okay.
My parents are very wonderful people, very
Absolutely.
committed. They were committed to raising us up in the way of the Lord. They did the best that they could, in raising us up. I mean, I turned out awesome. My sister is doing incredibly well as well. So I would say my parents did a very good job. The only thing that didn't work out was their marriage.
Yeah.
So growing up in that type of environment and seeing that kind of marriage, to be honest with you, from when I was a very little girl, I just always thought to myself, I said, this cannot be it. Like that, what? And especially because I grew up watching Cinderella, all
Oh,
those
the
fairy
fairy tale,
tales. I was
yeah.
like, Princess and the Frog, all those, fairy tales, Rapunzel, and all of that. So, watching all those and seeing my parents' marriage, I was just convinced in my heart that no, this cannot be everything. That there has to be more, and I was just willing to, to have more, to see more. So the mindset that I had at that point in time was, whatever I have to do to make sure that my story doesn't end up like this, I will do. So I wasn't on the other extreme of saying, oh, if this is how marriage is, I don't want it.
Yeah.
I was on the other side of, no, I have to work hard. There has to be something. This cannot be the way love is. This cannot be the reason why people get married, to just be this way. So I was like, yeah, I just have to make sure that mine is different. My story is better than this.
Yeah. So you took that upon yourself and said, you know what, I'm going to have something better than what I've experienced in my childhood.
Yeah, I think that's the correct answer to that question. But even though I was still young at the time, I'll just add this. I think it was God working in me. I'm convinced it was God working in me because my convictions were so strong. People had different opinions, but saying I heard so many things like, oh, there's no way you will marry a man and he won't cheat, and marriage is all about carrying your own cross. I'm like, the cross that we're carrying
Interesting
to follow
takes.
Jesus, that's the only cross me I know. Like I just knew
Uh,
that they just had to be more. So that strong conviction, I know it was God working in me.
yeah.
And I just being in marriage now, I understand that, yeah, that was really God.
That's very, very profound. Yeah. So with that in mind now, you've made that decision as a child that, okay, you know what, I'm not going to have this kind of marriage. I'm going to have a marriage that is better than this. So in that kind of environment, that kind of thoughts, having that kind of thoughts can be very, very challenging.
Yeah.
So how were you able to manage the situation or manage the thoughts in your mind, and then even come to the decision of getting married and get married early, because you got married at what?
23.
23.
Yeah,
So
23.
how did that happen? Just talk us through that.
Okay, so once I became a teenager, went to boarding school, secondary school, and as soon as I was done with that, I went to the university. I was exposed to, what other people, like other people's opinions and perspectives as well.
Yeah.
I was exposed to other people's parents. So, growing up and being all the way in Lagos, my school was in Ogun State. My circle was different. But when I went to the university, I was exposed to other people's parents. I saw people's parents have beautiful marriages, and I was like, okay, that's what I want.
Okay.
But as I grew older, I finished school. Obviously, marriage wasn't on my mind in school. I was just trying to pass my exams. But once I finished school, to the glory of God, I was able to have a more deeper and personal relationship with God.
Okay.
And it was in that time that I realized that marriage is an institution that has been, created by God.
Yeah.
If someone created a thing, it means they have the manual, and you have to stick to the manual.
Absolutely.
If I buy a particular microwave today, the fact that other microwaves work a certain way doesn't mean that this particular microwave will work this way.
Yeah.
So having that mindset that, look, God created marriage, he has the manual, we have to stick to the manual if we want the marriage to work. I was like, yep, jackpot. So I started watching and listening to godly content relating to marriage. I started reading books as well. But I was on YouTube. Oh my goodness, I finished all my data on YouTube watching Pastor Kingsley's videos because they were so educative.
Yeah.
And he's a very funny man.
Very relatable guy. I love that man.
He made me understand more about myself as a woman, and understand more about the male gender as well. In that time, I was even able to learn that, people are not perfect. The fact that you meet a good person doesn't mean that you don't have to put the work to make sure that the marriage, prospers. Just picking up all of those things, building my own relationship with God, and most importantly, becoming the person that I wanted my spouse to be. I put in the work to make sure that, look, I'm a good listener. I forgive. I'm teachable as well. I had to drop this particular mindset of, oh, that's how I am. I realized that that is not it at all.
Yeah.
There's everything that you do, everything that you are is learned. You can unlearn it, and you can pick up new things as well. So getting rid of that's how I am mentality now, and being teachable, willing to understand people really helped me in that time. And just majorly just building my relationship with God. I'll say that's the major thing that helped, and flooding my mind with godly content relating to marriage, because I came from a very rough background.
Yeah.
Aside my parents, other people's marriage around me as well were not impressive. I just knew that there had to be more. And then being in the church, seeing pastors, seeing their wives, them openly speaking about challenges in marriage, how they are overcoming it, made me feel good. Like, okay, yes, these people are doing it right. I too must do it right. So that's those things really made me come to the decision, like, oh yeah, I will get married, and I will get married right. And eventually, God helps me to get married.
No, those are very, very important points, and I'm happy you're sharing this, because I find that some people's mindsets might be very rigid in such a way that because of where they are coming from, they think that every marriage has to be like that.
Exactly.
So just knowing that your own case can be different is very, very important, and I'm happy like you're sharing your tips on how you came to this understanding.
I'm grateful for the opportunity to do that. To be honest with you, like if you're listening out there and you come from a similar background, like me, I just want to tell you, like, your parents' marriage it's not your marriage.
Yeah.
The fact that your parents' marriage is a certain way doesn't mean that's how your marriage would be. Marriage is all about two individual people coming together, making the right decisions continuously.
Absolutely.
It's not a one-time decision.
Absolutely.
You can get marriage right.
Yes.
You can get your relationships right.
Yes.
It's all about learning the basics, sticking to it, following God's manual, and you will do well. Yes, there are challenges in marriage. Even being married almost 1 year now, there are certain challenges that we are faced, but because we are stuck to the manual.
Yes.
We know what marriage is all about. We know that we are imperfect people and we can only do this by God's help. We've been able to overcome those challenges. So remove your mind from what you have seen. I know that can be a bit difficult, but remove your mind from there and focus on the fact that I can do this and I will do this. I will get married right. You have to want to do it. You have to want to let go of the past. You have to want to heal and move forward from all of those things. Otherwise, you find yourself being stuck in the past. And that's not where we want to be. Where you are coming from has no business with where you are going. Stay on course. Stay in the will of God. And, you will thrive in your relationships and in your marriages.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So during the course of all this, you're coming to the knowledge of how a godly marriage should work, how you envisioned your marriage to be now. Were there any challenges? Did you have to learn anything new, or did you have to unlearn anything that you may have picked up? Like, talk us through that process. How was it like for you?
I definitely had to, unlearn and learn learn a lot of new things before or on my journey to where I am now. And yes, there were challenges along the way, because once you have experienced certain things or you have lived in a certain environment, you've been exposed to a certain perspective.
Yeah.
It's a bit difficult to let go, and let's be very honest.
Especially as a child.
Exactly. Like it's all you know and it's all that you've seen.
Yeah.
That's very difficult to let go, and especially because I was surrounded with people who had different opinions. I mean, even up until the point where I got married, I had some so-called aunties calling me and telling me, like, marriage is difficult and I should call them when it gets tough and all of that. I'm like, nah, no. But definitely not you that I'll be calling. But just being surrounded by that, it was difficult to let go. It was difficult to let go. But what helped me was even that one couple that I saw get it right. I remember a particular girl in school, was when we were in Babcock. She wasn't even a Christian. Honestly, she wasn't a Christian. She's a Muslim, still a Muslim till now. And oh my goodness, the way she talks about her parents, their love for each other, when her parents come to school, like the way they, like, you see pictures and videos and they were just so in love. And she will even tell us about times where her parents are, her mom is angry with her dad and stuff like that. But it was just so beautiful to see, and that gave me hope. I'm like, okay, if these people are doing it right, then my own can be different. Not everybody's parents is unhappy like your own.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And that just fueled the motivation. So seeing that one, I wasn't even as close to this particular girl, to be honest. But even seeing that, I thought about it constantly. Like I'm just picturing all the videos and pictures I've seen of her parents. But that gave me hope. That fueled hope in me. And then along the way, just learning, being open-minded, and remaining determined. Like, oh God, I have to get it right. My own must be different. I've always had that mindset of, I don't care how it is for everybody else, my own must be the best. I'm not in competition with anybody. I'm not trying to be better than anybody. I'm just trying to be the best in my own lane, like according to God's timing and all of that. So that helped me overcome that challenge of all the perspective and perspectives and experiences that I had experienced in the past. And then what I had to unlearn majorly was all the things I had seen. All the the woman is supposed to do this, the man is supposed to do this, men are not supposed to be this, women are not supposed to be that, all those societal stereotypes for what for gender roles and all of that. I had to unlearn all of those things and stick to God's word. And that was hard. That was hard, I will be honest with you. But counseling helped. Being open to learning from my counselors who have very incredible marriage. Their family is so beautiful. So being open to learning from them as well. Reading books, studying about it also helped me as well. And I guess just having conversations with people who are thinking the same thing as you, like people who want to do marriage right as well, very important. And not skipping all those February is the time where they talk about love in church. You think that, oh yeah, I'm not married and all of that, it's not my business. It's your business.
It's a business.
It's your
Go
business.
and learn.
Go and learn.
Don't jot things down there.
Exactly. So being like love code conferences in our church and all of that. So
young and free.
Exactly. Just being open-minded to those things really, really helped me get to where I am at this point.
That's very good. Yeah. I mean, going through counseling with you, even when you went to counseling by yourself, having your own personal counseling sessions, and then going through counseling with you, like it was, I saw the effort you put in to learn certain things and to unlearn certain things, like finding out those things that were like, oh, this is not normal. And oh, this is so yeah.
There was something that I found out. I was like, that's not how they normally do it.
Exactly. Looking through the process now and just remembering how everything went through, I'm just so excited and thankful to God that you now have this new mind going into marriage. So I know you've given a quick advice to people out there that may be coming from the same kind of family that you did. So just in a quick few minutes, just say some words of encouragement to someone who might be listening, who's coming from a broken home and just thinks that's the way marriage should be. Like, what do you have to say to those people with those mindsets?
Okay. First of all, I'm sorry that you have experienced what you have experienced. Having experienced the same thing, I can understand how painful it is. To live in that kind of environment or to have gone through that thing, because while it's your parents' marriage, you're a product of that marriage, and most of the times you are caught in the middle of that. So I am sorry from the bottom of my heart that you have had to go through that. But going forward, we have to move on. We can't stay stuck in the past. This particular experience that you have had can either be the reason. It can either be the reason why your marriage is prosperous or not. It can be the reason why you move forward or you stay stuck where you are.
Yes.
I think it's better to pick the better option, which is allowing that situation to propel you to do better. The fact that you have experienced such awful experience or such awful situation is the reason why you should be so determined for it not to happen to you.
Yes.
For your children not to be born in that kind of situation. You should be so determined to want to do better. You should observe all of the mistakes that you have seen and be determined to learn from it and be the best person, have the best marriage that exists. You can have good things. You deserve good things. Yes, a lot of people have had, ugly experiences and all of that, but your situation can be different and will be different if you put in the correct effort, or if you put in the right amount of effort and have the right mindset. So what do you need to do going forward? First thing you do is even acknowledge the fact that you feel hurt.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we feel hurt and we're just putting it behind like a small thing, everyone goes through this and all of that. You might have even heard ugly comments about, especially if you're a lady, you might have heard ugly comments like, oh, women from broken home will eventually get married and have broken homes too, or nobody will marry you because you're from a broken home. All that's ugly talk. But I want to reassure you that that's not your story. Acknowledge what has happened. Make up your mind to move forward and take the necessary steps. Pray. I don't think I've mentioned that today, but you need to pray. You need to, first of all, learn if you desire to get married, what is marriage in the first place? Who instituted marriage? What is this all about? That will draw you closer to God, because there's no way you can think of the concept of marriage or love without knowing who God is. You can't know love if you don't know God.
Yeah, absolutely.
So learning what marriage is all about, learning who you need to be to, like, who you need to be in marriage. So if you're a guy, who is a husband? What are his responsibilities? What are his duties? If you're a wife, who is a wife? What are her responsibilities? What are her duties? I'm not talking about cooking and, bringing money to the house.
No.
Marriage is deeper than that.
There's way more.
There's way more to marriage, about who is
marriage.
making dinner,
Yeah.
and who is paying rent, and whose house are you sleeping in, and who is the mother. All those things. There's more to marriage than all of those things.
Absolutely.
So learning those duties and responsibilities of husbands and wife, getting counseling. If if you don't think you need it, just go first. Just listen.
Yeah.
Just listen. Invest good money in spirit-led counselors, Christian counselors, who you have seen that their marriage is good. Don't go to somebody that is saying A but practicing Z.
Yeah.
Observe them and go for counseling. Listen to what they have to say. Implement what you have learned. Don't let it be something you're just hearing but you're not implementing. So in a situation whereby you're in a relationship and they're teaching you about communication, implement whatever it is that you are learning into your relationship. Continuously making the right decisions to be patient, to be kind, to be loving, all of those things. Very, very important. To have a good marriage, or to have a healthy marriage relationship, is not a one-time decision. It's continuously making the right decisions every day.
Yeah.
And the only way we can continuously make the right decisions every day is to pray, is to live by the Spirit, because the Spirit works in us both to will and to do of His good pleasure. And it's God's pleasure for us to do right by our spouse, by the person we are dating, by the person we are in a marriage with.
Yeah.
So I think those are the major things. But those are the major things. But I'll really emphasize on the mindset. You have to have the right mindset. You can't be putting all of these other efforts, and at the back of your mind you're just wondering, oh, what if it doesn't work? It will work. It has to.
Yeah.
It will work. It just has to.
Yeah.
If you are determined, no matter what comes your way, you would be, you'll be focused on resolving challenges. You'll be focused on making the right decisions. But if you are wondering, oh, what if it doesn't work? What if it doesn't work? When push comes to shove, you leave.
Yeah.
Because that's what you've experienced in the past. But once you have the right mindset, you know that every challenge can be resolved. Every challenge can easily be resolved. Not easily, but can be resolved. So I think those are the major things for me. And by the grace of God, I pray whoever is watching this, you experience lovely, healthy relationships and marriage by the grace of God.
Amen. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well, that will be all from us for today. And thank you so much, my wife, my lovely, beautiful, gorgeous babe.
Oh my God.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience and those kind of words
It's
with
my
every
pleasure.
other person out there. And if you're listening, I really hope you've learned a few things today and you'll be able to apply what has been taught or what has been shared here if you come from a similar background, and if you come from a good home as well. Share this video with whoever you think might need it, and don't forget to subscribe. Follow us on Instagram as well, and if you have any questions, please be sure to ask in the comments here or send us a DM on Instagram or TikTok, wherever you find easier for you. And thank you very much.
That's it.
Yeah.
Till next time, guys. Thank
All right
you.
then. Have a nice
Bye.
time. Bye.